With phrases like, a hit, a flop, rave reviews, totally panned, recouped its investment, closed in the red, it's really difficult to parse out what makes a musical a success or a failure. So how can we sort this out? First, let's talk about reviews. Once upon a time, reviews really could, for better or worse, make or break a show, especially if that was a new Broadway show and that review came from the New York Times. There is a lot of history behind this, and it wasn't really the most fair of systems. Nowadays, reviews hold a lot less sway individually, though of course certain names still do hold a decent amount of weight. But more so than ever, now that we are in the age of anyone with a blog or YouTube channel can review a show, it comes down more so than ever to the overall review tone across the board. And to be frank, even if the tone is bad, that doesn't necessarily sink a show anymore. I've seen bad word of mouth kill a show a lot faster than a generally bad tone across the swath of Googleable reviews. So what does this mean? It means that reviews aren't a great barometer for determining whether a musical is a success or a failure. Reviews may give you a good idea of whether or not you, as the audience member, wants to go see a particular show, but they don't really have a set standard for grading shows across the board, and they don't tend to make or break them anymore. Okay, so what about money? News outlets love to talk about how much money was sunk into a show and speculate as to whether or not that show has a chance of recoupment. I mean, Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, anyone? And of course, I mean this very specifically in the realm of commercial Broadway shows. When a Broadway show climbs out of the red and into the black of recoupment, there's certainly a resounding cheer for that show. I mean, when the statistics are that only 1 out of every 5 Broadway shows, only 20% ever reach recoupment, well, then we gotta cheer them on. And on the opposite side of that coin, you will also hear some quiet cheering from certain corners of the industry when a big, flashy musical fails to meet its recoupment and costs a lot of money to the producers and the investors. I don't particularly love this culture, but it's certainly there. And when shows fail to recoup in a big way, that's when they are often referred to as a flop. Though I will say that sometimes shows that get pretty close to their recoupment but still don't make it often get branded with this term as well. But does failure to recoup on Broadway make a show a failure? No. Not really. And I say this for a few reasons. Number one is that you will quite often end up with a show that is, and I quote, an artistic success and a financial failure. Famously, Sondheim shows often fell into this category when they debuted, and I would say that also the Tony Award winners for Best Musical of the past couple of decades sometimes fall in this category as well. The other reason that I say no, though, is because many of these shows end up recouping their investments. It's just not while they're sitting on Broadway. Tours, publishing, and licensing are actually where most of these shows end up making their money. This is why it is so popular to tour a show that flopped on Broadway, because in the tour, it's a lot easier to make your money back. P.S. If you're enjoying or getting any value out of today's video, please give it a little like so it can spread to more viewers like you. Thanks! Okay, so then it must come down to artistic success, right? What the masses think? Well, here are the 2 problems with that line of thinking. Firstly, who's to say what is or is not an artistic success? Like we already mentioned with reviews, there is no set standard against which we measure, and especially with the large varieties of types of musicals these days. So really, at the end of the day, everyone ends up defining what is and is not an artistic success on an individual level. And secondly, even shows that are deemed non-artistic will often end up running for years and years and years. Commercial success and artistic success are just not linked in the way that you might expect them to be. So this route seems a bit of a dud as well. Alright, fine. So what is a good measure for a musical's success? The best definition I can provide of a successful musical would be a musical that accomplishes what it set out to accomplish for the audiences that it was intended to serve. Basically, knowing what the musical was created to do and for whom is the key, because that is data we can track. If a show was meant to sit on a Broadway stage to play to tourists for profit, well, that is a set of boxes you can look and see if the musical ended up checking. Or if you had a show that was meant to be published without a major production so that it could get into the high school musical catalogs and boost representation on stage in educational settings, well, that's a different set of boxes that you can look and see if it checked. Not every show needs to land on Broadway, and not every show even intends to recoup its Broadway investment if it does. But what every show absolutely does need to do is to trust and serve its audience. And if you're not sure that you are doing that with your shows, then you can watch this video next. Otherwise,
thank you all for being here with me today, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers!